A blessed day everyone, it's me again, Teacher Lumaban, and if you are new in my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell, to be updated in my videos. This time we will discuss Chapter 11 Agrarian Reform Cooperatives of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Republic of the Philippines. Congress of the Philippines. Metro Manila. 14th Congress. Second Regular Session. Begun and held in Metro Manila, on Monday, the 28th day of July, 2008. Republic Act No. 9520. An act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 11. Articles 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, and 95 of Chapter 11 on the special provisions relating to agrarian reform cooperatives of the same code are hereby renumbered, retitled, and amended to read, as follows. Chapter 11. Agrarian Reform Cooperatives. Article 87. Coverage. The provisions of this chapter shall primarily govern agrarian reform cooperatives, provided that the provisions of the other chapters of this code shall apply suppletorily except insofar as this chapter otherwise provides. Article 88. Definition and purpose. An agrarian reform cooperative is one organized by marginal farmers, majority of which are agrarian reform beneficiaries, for the purpose of developing an appropriate system of land tenure, land development, land consolidation, or land management in areas covered by agrarian reform. An agrarian reform cooperative as defined shall be organized for any or all of the following purposes. Subarticle 1. To develop an appropriate system of land tenure, land development, land consolidation, or land management in areas covered by agrarian reform. Subarticle 2. To coordinate and facilitate the dissemination of scientific methods of production, and provide assistance in the storage, transport, and marketing of farm products for agrarian reform beneficiaries and their immediate family, hereinafter referred to as beneficiaries. Subarticle 3. To provide financial facilities to beneficiaries for provident or productive purposes at reasonable costs. Subarticle 4. To arrange and facilitate the expeditious transfer of appropriate and suitable technology to beneficiaries and marginal farmers at the lowest possible cost. Subarticle 5. To provide social security benefits, health, medical and social insurance benefits and other social and economic benefits that promote the general welfare of the agrarian reform beneficiaries and marginal farmers. Subarticle 6. To provide non-formal education, vocational/technical training, and livelihood programs to beneficiaries and marginal farmers. Subarticle 7. To act as conduits for external assistance and services to the beneficiaries and marginal farmers. Subarticle 8. To undertake a comprehensive and integrated development program in agrarian reform and resettlement areas with special concern for the development of agro-based, marine-based, and cottage-based industries. Subarticle 9. To represent the beneficiaries on any or all matters that affect their interest, and Subarticle 10. To undertake such other economic or social activities as may be necessary or incidental in the pursuit of the foregoing purposes. Article 89. Cooperative estate. Land holdings like plantations, estates, or haciendas acquired by the state for the benefit of the workers in accordance with the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, which shall be collectively owned by the worker beneficiaries under a cooperative setup. Article 90. Infrastructure. In agrarian reform and resettlement areas, the government shall grant to agrarian reform cooperatives preferential treatment in the construction, maintenance, and management of roads, bridges, canals, wharves, ports, reservoirs, irrigation systems, waterworks systems, and other infrastructures with government funding. For this purpose, the government shall provide technical assistance, facilities, and equipment to such agrarian reform cooperatives. Article 91. Lease of public lands. The government may lease public lands to any agrarian reform cooperative for a period not exceeding 25 years, subject to renewal for another 25 years only, provided that the application for renewal shall be made 1 year before the expiration of the lease, provided, further, that such lease shall be for the exclusive use and benefit of the beneficiaries and marginal farmers subject to the provisions of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. Article 92. Preferential right. In agrarian reform areas, an agrarian reform cooperative shall have the preferential right in the grant of franchise and certificate of public convenience and necessity for the operation of public utilities and services, provided that it meets the requirements and conditions imposed by the appropriate government agency granting the franchise or certificate of public convenience and necessity. If there is an electric service provider in the area, it shall, upon the request of an agrarian reform cooperative, immediately provide electric services to the agrarian reform areas. If the electric service provider fails to provide the services requested within a period of 1 year, the agrarian reform cooperative concerned may undertake to provide the electric services in the area through its own resources. All investments made by the said agrarian reform cooperative for the electrification of the agrarian reform resettlement areas shall be the subject of sale to the electric service provider once it takes on the service. Article 93. Privileges. Subject to such reasonable terms and conditions as the Department of Agrarian Reform, DAR, and the authority may impose, agrarian reform cooperatives may be given the exclusive right to do any or all of the following economic activities in agrarian reform and resettlement areas. Sub-Article 1. Supply and distribution of consumer, agricultural, aquacultural, and industrial goods, production inputs and raw materials and supplies, machinery, equipment, facilities and other services and requirements of the beneficiaries and marginal farmers at reasonable prices. Sub-Article 2. Marketing of the products and services of the beneficiaries in local and foreign markets. Sub-Article 3. Processing of the members' products into finished consumer or industrial goods for domestic consumption or for export. Sub-Article 4. Provision of essential public services at costs such as power, irrigation, potable water, passenger and/or cargo transportation by land or sea, communication services, and public health and medical care services. Sub-Article 5. Management, conservation, and commercial development of marine, forestry, mineral, water, and other natural resources subject to compliance with the laws and regulations on environmental and ecological controls, and Sub-Article 6. Provision of financial, technological, and other services and facilities required by the beneficiaries in their daily lives and livelihood. The government shall provide the necessary financial and technical assistance to agrarian reform cooperatives to enable them to discharge effectively their purposes under this article. The DAR, the authority, and the BSP shall draw up a joint program for the organization and financing of the agrarian reform cooperatives subject of this chapter. The joint program shall be geared towards the beneficiaries' gradual assumption of full ownership and management control of the agrarian reform cooperatives. Article 94. Organization and registration. Agrarian reform cooperatives may be organized and registered under this code only upon prior written verification by the DAR to the effect that the same is needed and desired by the beneficiaries. Results of a study that has been conducted fairly indicate the economic feasibility of organizing the same and that it will be economically viable in its operations, and that the same may now be organized and registered in accordance with requirements of this code. The authority, in consultation with the concerned government agencies and cooperative sector, shall issue appropriate rules and regulations pertaining to the provisions of this chapter.
I hope you learned something about our topic about Chapter 11 Agrarian Reform Cooperatives of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. If you learned something in this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with your friends to also learn about this topic. If you have comments, questions, and suggestions, you can leave a message in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching my videos, hoping that we meet again in my next vlog. And God bless you always.